Trump. So, guys, the United States and China are knee deep in a trade war, and it didn't just happen out of nowhere. It was kicked off by none other than Donald Trump. Now, a lot of people think Donald Trump was just winging it, but nope, he had a strategy, a messy, controversial, kind of shaky strategy, but a strategy nonetheless. To get what he was trying to do, you first gotta understand what a tariff is. So, a tariff is basically a tax a country puts on its imports. Let's say your country sells iron for $5 and another country sells it for $2. Of course, people are going to buy the cheaper one. But if your government slaps a $2.5 tariff on that foreign iron, now it's going to cost about $4.5. Suddenly, your local iron doesn't look so bad anymore. That's a point to give local business a fighting chance. So Trump looked at the whole playing field and said, cool, let's add tariffs to everyone. American companies weren't thrilled. They were like, hold up, you're making import more expensive on us, and that's gonna hurt us. Trump said, that's not my problem. And those countries were like, they're gonna pass those extra costs to their customers. Meanwhile, other countries were panicking. The US won't buy as much from us now. We're about to lose serious money. Trump hit them with a sarcastic crime river. Meanwhile, back home, some Americans were cheering, yeah, protect our economy. Businesses kept warning, yo, this is gonna hurt you and us. Still, the crowd kept clapping until the stock market dipped. Trump tried to play it cool. He said, relax, I was just testing something. Then he shifted gears, a new plan. A flat 10% import tax for everyone except China. China, they said, they were supposed to pay up big time. China wasn't having it. They hit them back with their own tariffs. Trump escalated again. China clapped back, and just like that, trade war activated. At this point, US-China trade became so expensive that doing business between the two was basically pointless. But here's the thing. Trump wanted this to happen. Yeah, you heard that right. See, there's a massive global trade ecosystem, and China is the kingpin. They manufacture more stuff than anyone, and they do it cheap. Sounds like good business, right? But it's so cheap that other countries can't compete. China becomes the only viable option, and that creates a chokehold on global supply chains. So Trump's thinking was this: if we stop depending on China, we'll start building more stuffs for ourselves. America becomes more self-reliant. In theory, it's a strong move, but in reality, it's problematic. First of all, there are things the US physically can't produce. You can't grow mangoes in Minnesota, no matter how many tariffs you throw at the problem. Second, America businesses just didn't trust Trump's volatility. 1 minute is enforcing strict rules, the next is backpedaling. Who is going to move factories and invest billions when the guy in charge might flip the whole policy next week? Third, and this is the big one, if you really want to cut China out of the equation, you need other countries to join you. But instead of rallying allies, Trump ticked everyone off by taxing them too. Economists were confused, like, why isolate the entire planet? Trump's answer: to make America great again. The rest of the world responded, if you make the world stronger, your country benefits too. But Trump didn't care. He wanted to challenge China head on. Meanwhile, China saw an opportunity. Look at this chaos. Everyone's frustrated with the US. Just come trade with us. Sure, other nations were annoyed with China too, but at least China wasn't charging them extra fees across the board. So now, the global trade scene, absolute chaos. Both the US and China want to cool things down, but they've hyped up their standoff so much that backing out would make them look weak. Neither side wants to blink first. They likely plan quiet handshake, reverse the tariffs, and pretend none of this ever happened, just like Trump tried before. But wait, it gets messier. J.D. Vance, the vice president, in an interview, he casually insulted the Chinese people by calling them peasants. That was like pouring gasoline on fire. China picked up on it instantly. Did he just say what we think he said? Trump properly scrambled like, he meant pheasants, like the bird. Too late. China blasted the quote all over their social media, painting the US as disrespectful and arrogant. Now China's public is fired up, and there's no way they're backing down without losing face. It's like two heavyweight fighters in the ring, both exhausted, both ready to call it off, and someone from the crowd shouts, "Hey, he said you suck," and now the fight's back on. So the trade war drags on, prices rises, tension builds, and the world waits for anyone, to swallow their pride and make peace. But the egos this big and global stakes this high, that handshake might be a long way off.